This is BFBS with OJ Borge.
The very sincere voiceover man was correct. I am OJ Borge. Welcome along to Esports on BFBS. Alongside a man who is a combat medical technician. He's also the CEO of Skoll Esports. And I have it on good authority that he's doing the entire show this week wearing Lycra. Jonah Jupp, welcome along.
Welcome. I am back. Well, I am what? I don't know what I'm saying, but yes, I am wearing Lycra.
It's that Lycra. It's far too tight for you. The reason why he's wearing the Lycra will become obvious in just a second. So yes, this is the home of anything and everything to do with gaming and esports within the armed forces, which, Jonah, has become what size now? From when you first joined up, where has esports got to over the years?
It's about 3 years ago. I think British Army esports were only about 1,000 members. I mean, I know the Discord now we're at least 8,000, so we've grown substantially. I mean, when I started the Twitch, we were at 200 followers, and now we're at 3.5k or something. So, I mean, not obviously my work alone. I mean, the entire team has put the time and effort in, and we've made a good community. But it goes for every single service. Every single service is about the people, men and women running the esports organizations, and the amount of effort they put in, and it really shows. I mean, look at the communities we're building. I
know, and that's why we want to celebrate it on this show. One of the things we're doing as well, and you should know this by now, and hopefully you're in there, we are running the War Room. Jonah, what is the War Room this week?
So the War Room is, again, Party Animals. So the lobby code is BFBS Esports Live. That's a lobby name, sorry. And the password is 2258, as it is for the last couple of weeks. So make sure you guys jump in, come say hello, and yeah, it'd be great to play with you guys.
So just if you are wondering, 2258 is Jonah's PIN code for his credit card.
It is.
We're going to speak to our guest this week. It is Staff Sergeant Kevin Ozzy Osbourne about the e-cycling series he runs, hence why Jonah is resplendent in Lycra. We'll be asking all about gaming setups as well. What's needed, where to start if you're thinking about getting it, and how you don't have to spend millions of pounds of yours or other people's money to get that. If you don't know what Zwift is, if it means nothing to you, then we're about to talk about that and other ways you can get involved in e-cycling. And we'll do that by chatting to Staff Sergeant Kevin Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy, how are you, buddy?
Hi, yes, OJ. I'm good, thank you very much. Yeah,
well,
great.
Thank you for coming along. I keep mentioning e-cycling. For those who aren't initiated, what is e-cycling?
So e-cycling is basically riding on your bike on the virtual world, I suppose. For me anyway, it's in Zwift. But yeah, getting on your bike indoors with a trainer and pedaling away until your legs say no.
Yeah, and your mind says no as well. It's one of the sweatiest things I've ever done, because I mean I love Zwift. I race on it all the time. I still think it's one of the fun things you can do around gaming or cycling. So add them together, it's great. Have you tried it, Jonah?
I've tried a couple sims like it on the cycling side, but I don't think I've ever done Zwift. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of footage from it, and I know it gets very competitive. And I know, especially during like the COVID era where people couldn't be close together, I mean, Zwift was a way for races to still happen and still, you know, like the long distance ones in the UK, for example, to happen during the COVID pandemic. So,
it became its own thing with its own world championships. How did you get into it, Ozzy?
So it was through Army Cycling originally, so I did a lot of on-the-road stuff. Unfortunately, I had a bike accident where I came over the handlebars and I broke my collarbone. Oh. So during recovery, I needed something to keep myself busy, and that was kind of it, really. Found Zwift. And then, like Jonah just said there, COVID came around, so we weren't allowed outside. So, yeah, I was already kind of into it already at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Ozzy, a broken collarbone, that's a proper cycling injury, that one, isn't it? If you've not broken your collarbone, are you a real cyclist?
For sure.
So obviously COVID came around and people started racing. What is the Army cycling race team like? Who's on it? Have you got a ton of people? Is it competitive? What leagues are you in?
So we've got 3 teams currently, a B Cat, a C Cat, and a D Cat team. And they currently Zwift Racing League. So actually, we've had a team finish in I've got a few messages coming through on the Discord right now of how much they just hated the race they've just done, which is just finished. So they do that, and we also do the time trials on a Thursday evening as well, and we have about 6 to 12 riders getting involved with that at the moment. And then the Army series as well, which is all the corps get involved in that, which currently we've got about 90 riders involved in that as well, which is good. Yeah.
It is a great thing, Jonah. What you don't realise is when you hit the hills, it actually gets harder to pedal, so it feels like you are riding around proper places. You said you had a D Cat, a C Cat, and a B Cat. leagues. You've got teams going into all of those. Jonah, where do you think Ozzy is? Which one? Because I actually don't know. This is a question I'm going to ask him in a second. But B's for your strongest riders, D's for those who aren't as strong.
Or I hope Ozzy, you're in the B, right? That's what we want to see.
I'm borderline B and C category at the moment.
Right, okay.
Listen, Ozzy, me too. It's the greatest place to be. You can win the C's and feel bad about it, and then absolutely struggle in the B's.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. How many people are part of the community within Army Esports?
The interest is definitely during the winter. So for road cyclists, they don't go out when it's wet and windy and miserable. So winter normally becomes our on season for virtual or e-racing. So that's when the community starts picking up. And like I said, we get around about 90 riders that get involved in our series and events that we have taking part in.
That's a healthy number. This is Esports on BFBS, here with Jonah, as always. And also Kevin Ozzy Osbourne, Staff Sergeant Kevin Ozzy Osbourne, who is from the Army Cycling E-Race team. I guess it's worth talking about now, if people are listening to this thinking, do you know what, I fancy a bit of this, Ozzy. What kit do you need? Because you need a fair few things.
So I mean, at the simplest level, so for anyone that just wants to give it a bash, head down to your gym and jump on a watt bike. Get a heart rate monitor. Most gyms have that now as well, especially I know the gym on base here does have one. And yeah, with a device that can plug into your watt bike and your heart rate monitor, and that can run Zwift, and then off you go. So you can just do it from your phone, from the very lowest level, that is. And then if you get the bug and you want to be a bit more competitive, then yeah, you'll need maybe like a direct drive trainer for your road bike or something like that, which is a few more bucks. But for a cheap setup, go down your gym and give it a bash down your gym.
Jonah, come on, mate. So I've got a setup at home. I've got it out in the shed, which I call my sweat shed. Do you fancy it? Do you fancy a crack on it if we try and set it up maybe this week?
I mean, maybe not this week. I mean, I don't have access to that kit.
Oh, maybe not this week.
No, I'm not on camp, all right. When I get back on camp, though, I know that pretty much every gym in the military now has a watt bike in it. So, yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, one week we could do a stream where I'm hanging out on a watt bike with Ozzy here.
We do a meetup.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get a meetup. We'll get a few more of the Army ACU riders involved as well. And we could have a meetup, go up a few little cheeky climbs.
Yeah, man. Let's take him around the Uber Pretzel. That'll hurt him deeply.
I'm sure the QMSI will be wondering what's going on while I'm sat there on the watt bike. But
sweating away.
We'll see.
Sweating away. Here's a question for you, Ozzy. How many fans do you have in your pain cave?
How many fans? I've just got the Frostmaster, though. So it's called a pretty good one.
That's an actual fan. It's called the Frostmaster.
Yeah, it's called the Frostmaster, and I tell you what, on setting free. I'm nearly in the back of the dining room.
Do you know what? I actually got sent it. So admittedly, it was something that sent to me, but I was sent the normal. So you know what your cycling suit looks like. So your tight top and your tight pants with the padded bottom. Yeah, but it actually had a load of pockets in it. You could put freezer gels. You know the things that you get that you would stick in if you were going to take a picnic out. What are they called? They're called cool boxes. Actually slips into pockets all over it to keep you as cool as possible, which is a bit of a winner. Ozzy, do you do any other gaming, or is it just the e-cycling that you do, the e-racing?
So I've dabbled. So I'm with the Royal Artillery, and so I've dabbled with the Gunners Esports team. I know Foggy Moore's been on here a few times, and he's a good friend of mine. And so again, during the COVID era, I got involved in Call of Duty and the kind of games just to help tick the time over in the evenings and stuff. But I'm predominantly a Swifter. I'm not going to lie.
It's a good thing to do. I guess the question is, because Foggy has been on quite a bit, but we're trying to work out whether we should keep calling him Foggy or go with the new name of the Fog Dog.
I mean, I've known Foggy for years, so to call him anything else but Foggy would be not right for me. But yeah, we can try Fog Dog. I'll see him tomorrow, and I'll give it a bash.
Give it a go. See if you can run it past him. So if people listen to this thinking they want to keep up to date with Army Cycling, the E-Race series, how do they do it, Ozzy?
So we've got an Instagram account, Army Cycling E-Racing. We've on Defence Connect for everyone as well. Same title, Army Cycling Racing. But we also have a UK Armed Forces e-racing group on Facebook as well, because we like to try and incorporate RAF and Navy as well into the events too. So we've got that open to everyone as well to join in.
Who's got the best cycling team of the forces?
So we actually at the start of every cycling year, should we say, it's around Easter time, we have a UK Armed Forces series, which we have the best of the best compete it out. For the last 2 years, the RAF have won in the men's team. But the Army women have won in the women's. So it's good stuff. It's good fun.
Let's do that. Ozzy, mate, thank you so much. Well, I'm 100% going to try and sort this meetup out to try and get Jonah involved in it. So hopefully we'll see you in Watopia at some point soon.
I'll look forward to it. It'll be great to have you.
All right, cheers. There you go. That is Staff Sergeant Kevin Ozzy Osbourne talking all about the Army Cycling E-Race Series. Now, we were just talking about setups there that you need if you want to take part in e-racing, e-cycling. You would need a trainer, and you would need a laptop, and you would need a lot of fans in coordinate. What did he call it? Did he call it the Ice Master?
Yeah, something like that. The Frost Master or something. He sounded like a superhero.
He did, yeah. He calls himself Ozzy Osbourne, Frost Master Osbourne. Let's talk about gaming rigs then, because you are, am I right in thinking that you're in the midst of building one, or are you in the midst of always upgrading yours? How does it work with gaming rigs?
Yeah, so actually, funny story. Over the last about 2 years, I've had the Army kindly gave me a very high-end PC, loaned me it while I was doing a lot of the streaming for them. Now is my time really to sort of take a step back from Army Esports. I mean, if anyone's out there and wants to get involved in Army Esports, please do. It's all about the people. The people put the effort in, and the people that make things happen within Army Esports, and I can't stress that more. But yeah, with running obviously my own thing, and Army Esports is Army Esports, and I love it forever, and everything's done for me. Anyway, moving on to PCs, high-end PCs. I mean, I've had it one, as I said, loaned to me for a long while now. Fantastic bit of kit, but you don't need to start there. I mean, I started back years ago on an Xbox. Stole my dad's Xbox 360, took it to my room, and had a monitor precariously placed on top of the Xbox 360 until it melted one time. But yeah, I mean, you can start as simple as that. Console and a monitor and a controller, that's all you need to get started. But if you want to get into PC gaming, it's an expensive hobby. I mean, you can't lie. If you want to start, lowest budget, you're talking at least, $1,000 to get a decent computer these days, with the price of graphics cards going up. Thank you very much, Bitcoin miners. But yeah, I mean, as I said, $1,000 as baseline. I mean, but mid-range is probably about 2,500. Then top end, you're talking about £8,000. But that's if you're running, I don't know, NASA. So,
I mean, they are wild people who do get carried away with a ton of monitors to go with it as well. And it's an interesting thing. I always think, because I console game more than anything, only because my daytime computer is a Mac, and gaming on a Mac has always been fairly hilarious.
And a sin.
Well, that's, I tend to have to sit in the corner on my own whenever I mention it, because I used to play CSGO, Counter-Strike on it. So my thing was I would go to whatever event, and everyone's got these high-powered PC laptops, and they're gaming in whatever, a million bits of resolution, and I would have to sit in the corner on my own in shame gaming on my Mac. But the problem is now that Counter-Strike 2, which is the new one, it's come out, it's the brand new game, it's going to be massive, is not going to be on OS, so it's not going to work on a Mac, which means I now have to shamefaced cross the aisle and get myself a PC. So at some point, I'm going to have to get myself a gaming rig. So if you could lend me about $8,000, or that Army Esports one they gave you, if you want to just maybe lose it and send it my way.
I'll speak to Colonel Elliot an Army quarters and see if you'll loan it to you. I'm sure he'll be more than willing.
I think absolutely he'll do it, because we've talked a lot over the course of not just this series but other ones, the many different types of rig you would need for the certain esports you do. Because I know when we've chatted to Foggy in the past, and he's talked about sim racing, you need tons of kit for that.
It's all depending on what you want to do. I mean, if you're playing an FPS shooter like me, easy peasy, mouse, keyboard, decent headset, and fairly decent gaming PC. Right, brilliant. But yeah, if you're going to sim racing, that's a whole different ball game. You need all the equipment, you need the steering wheel, the pedals, and then you can literally spend as much as you want on it. I know people have literally got the sim racing kit liveried up as if they're in a McLaren F1 car. So I mean, the limits are endless. So pick a budget, stick with it, see what you can buy, but bare minimum, PC, mouse, keyboard.
Yeah.
Easy.
Do you know what? I think my rule tends to be pick a budget and then immediately blow it out of the water when you want something more expensive.
That's most people.
Every single time.
Definitely the Space Force. We're definitely going to provide the smoke for them today, and we're definitely taking our trophy home.